Hi, this is Vrinda. Noida administration, Hazir Ho. This is the spot where a few days ago, 27-year-old Yuvraj Mehta drowned to his death. The site of his death is now buzzing with activity. Yuvraj died here waiting for help just a few days ago. Police officers, media mics, rescue boats, divers and locals are thronging the site. But none of them took note of this massive pit that you see on your screen now. This pit that lay in open invitation for a tragedy to occur and cause the death of an unsuspecting citizen. A citizen who trusts in an invisible system and believes very wrongly that when the time comes, that system will save him. These officers who stand here are similar to those who know that they have yet again failed an exam but have still come to look at the mark sheet. And let's not talk about shame here, because there is no space for it in the grand scheme of Indian bureaucracy. Now, I cannot vouch for these facts, but a cursory look at media reports revealed a remarkable fact to me. I was shocked to see that Gautam Budh Nagar, where Yuvraj lost his life, is in fact comparable to Japan. The Uttar Pradesh government has reported that Noida has a per capita income of more than 10 lakhs, which amazingly is comparable to Japan itself. Does this site look like a site from Japan? Out of 75 districts in UP, at 2.63 lakh crores, Noida has a GDP higher than the GDP of Himachal Pradesh. This district in UP attracts the maximum foreign investment. Yet, when its residents die in open ditches, they die slow, painful, lonely deaths. Is this how people live and die in Japan? The officers visible in these visuals will certainly tell us that Gautam Budh Nagar is a highly industrial area. It has a 10% share in the state's revenue and 20 to 25,000 industrial units dot its map. But will they be able to tell us who is responsible for Yuvraj's death and what might have caused it? Actually, the answers are not to be found only in the conditions of the road prior to Yuvraj's fatal accident, nor are they to be looked for in the aftermath alone, in that failed rescue operation that lasted for a few hours. This is the spot where Yuvraj drowned to his death, Sector 150. This is a disputed construction site where a mall was set to be built. This, what you look at on your screens, is a basement. It is the basement of that mall, which over the past few months had filled up with rainwater, and then sewage supply from nearby societies had accumulated here. You can see that the boundary wall between the road and the pit is very small, not tall at all, and it would not be visible on a foggy night. And on the other side, there is a deep construction site filled with sewage. No wonder that Yuvraj was not able to see it. His car sped out of control and he fell into this pit. This is the condition under which a mall was being constructed, and then construction was stalled following a dispute. All of this is happening in the middle of the city. The simple question is this: how was this site allowed to be open and managed so dangerously for the many months of construction and then the stalling of construction? Just 2 weeks ago, a truck had fallen into the same construction site. The driver narrowly escaped death and the cops came 2 hours later. But he was finally rescued only 4 hours later when the locals came to help him at around 4 a.m. in the morning. But Yuvraj was not so lucky. No one could save him and he died in front of his father's eyes. Is the administration sleeping on the wheel? Who should be taken to task over this? So let's set the context straight here. There are two sets of images on your screen now, one from the US and one from Germany. Let's look at how road safety measures are implemented in these countries that the Indian government seeks to compete with in economic terms. Look at these visuals from Germany. The road is under repair, it's dug up and trucks line up along the sides. Just so that accidents don't happen, the entire area where construction is taking place has been covered and surrounded with barricades. The speed limit in this area was reduced by 30 kilometers per hour and pedestrians are given a separate route to walk on. The barricades are brightly marked so that one does not miss them at night. When have you seen such stringent regulations being followed for road safety in the Indian cities where you live? Would this accident have happened in the first place if the roads had been designed well? If, say, the roads had been designed like these roads from a US city. The roads here are marked with green and white lines to tell pedestrians and cyclists where to walk and ride their bikes. The signal sign clearly tells a cyclist that it is safe for her to ride her cycle now. The traffic poles are high up, they are not hidden and cluttered by trees, and the roads are wide, there are no cars parked along the sides of the roads. Imagine if there had been enough lighting on the roads that night when Yuvraj was driving his car, if the signals had been working well, if the construction site was covered properly, if there were safety signals around, would Yuvraj have fallen to his death? Probably not. So many ifs, but only if Yuvraj had been alive today. These visuals show how the debates around road safety and design are constantly evolving across the world. And our bureaucracy is completely clueless. I'm sure these officers travel to foreign countries themselves, their families might visit these countries, but are they even looking at the roads that they walk along when they go to these countries? These markers along the roads are not just a formality, but they show that a lot of research has gone into the design of these tracks which are used by pedestrians, cyclists and motorists. Surely there must be a department in these countries, in these cities, which oversees these processes. So what are the officers in Gautam Budh Nagar, in Noida, Greater Noida or any other Indian city from Bareilly to Wayanad to Jaipur doing? If they can't even keep the road safe, then what are they supposed to do? What are they here for? The builder whose mall was under construction has been arrested. Noida CEO has been removed from the case, but will that alone be the answer? An SIT has been formed. Will the SIT ask why this construction pit was not covered safely in the many days before the accident? And why was no inquiry set up after the truck driver fell into this same pit just 2 weeks ago? The videos emerging from the rescue site have revealed the shoddy conditions under which the so-called Prashasan claims to be prepared for any situation. Yuvraj kept calling for help, but help was too late and too little when it arrived. Post-mortem reports reveal that his lungs were filled with 3.5 liters of water. His breathing passage was lined with mud and ultimately his heart failed. SDRF, fire brigade, police, all of them failed to save Yuvraj Mehta. What is the system doing then? If the system cannot save a dying man in front of everyone's eyes, what is the system doing? Who is it for? Yuvraj Mehta's death is a tragedy. But the greater tragedy is that the people living in these areas are repeating the same doubts that they have always lived with, that nothing will change here. Kuch nahi hoga, kuch nahi badlega. This is how we hope, this is how we live. This is Vrinda.